Hey guys, Steve here for Who Took My Dice Miniature Wargaming, and welcome to the second part of my 5-part series about the Index Imperialis Inquisition. Today we're looking at the special rules and the stratagems, and it starts now. Alright, so today, like I said, we're going to be diving into the keywords, special rules, the stratagems of the Inquisition. The keyword part is pretty basic. It's like every other codex. Fill in whatever ordo you're following, whether it's Malleus, Hereticus, Xenos, or Minoris. Pretty straightforward. The abilities are actually pretty cool and fit, in my opinion, fit what the Inquisition does. The first one is Quarry. Basically, whatever one you use, if you say you've gone with an Ordo Hereticus Inquisition unit or Inquisitor and his followers, they'd have one where it's resolving an attack made by a model unit against a Chaos or Psyker unit. You can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. This is the same for pretty much every other one. It just slightly changes what you're hunting. For instance, Ordo Malleus is Chaos and Demon. Ordo Hereticus is worded a bit weird. But basically, when resolving an attack made by a model in this unit against a unit is not Chaos, Imperium, unaligned, then you can do those rerolls. Basically, it's just a quicker way than saying that Orcs, Tau, Tyrannid, Necron, you all get this bonus against. Excuse me. And then there's the Ordo Minoris. As I talked about last episode, those are the smaller, very, very specific Ordos. Like ones that are designed to look after assassins or stop time anomalies, right? Basically, they get the same sort of rule, but only against characters, which isn't too bad. There's a lot of characters out that buff units. Not too bad to have a bonus against characters. The next one, this is a cool one, Authority of the Inquisition. Basically, infantry units with this ability can board any Imperial transfer model, even the model only permits models with other faction keywords to do so. So you have a Rhino for your Space Wolves, they can go on it. You have a Chimera for your Astra Militarum, they can go in it. Anything, doesn't matter. A Thunderhawk, if you got a Thunderhawk, they can go in it. They have that in mandate, they can go in. All the restrictions apply normally, and Inquisitor Terminator models can only embark aboard transport models that specifically allow Terminator models to do so. So you're not going to have, there is a character, one of the HQs, a Ordo Malleus, Inquisitor, and Terminator armor. You can't be throwing him in a Rhino. He'd have to go in something that could carry Terminator armor, like a Land Raider. And then it gets to the Battleforge stuff. If your army's Battleforge, the following rules apply. No more than one Inquisitor unit can be included in any Inquisition detachment. That is a detachment that includes only Inquisition models. So you can't be building a super army of Inquisitors, which means basically, because of the way the army is built up, and we'll look at this later, you really only have HQ and elite choices. So you won't be able to use Supreme Command detachment with these guys. There's no battalion detachment. Basically, a Vanguard detachment is all you're going to be really able to do. And it kind of makes sense. You don't want an army filled with Inquisitors running around using all these different stratagems, blowing the heck out of stuff, killing characters, what have you. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. It also kind of puts Inquisitors in a way they should be as a separate detachment that gains the benefits of being with a larger army. So say, for instance, you have an army of Space Marines, and that fills up your battalion, getting you a whole bunch of command points. You can throw an Inquisitor and a small unit of his, say some of his followers, his acolytes, say a demon host, what have you, and you can use those command points to fill up the stratagems, because there's some pretty nice stratagems here. It continues. If your army does not include any Inquisition detachments, one Inquisitor unit can be included in any other detachment without taking up a slot, so long as every unit in your army, with the exception of those that are unaligned, has the Imperium keyword. So basically, you could fill up a battalion detachment with all your HQs and still take an Inquisitor. It wouldn't stop you. Excuse me. Oh, and does not have the Fallen, so you can't be taking an army of Fallen and have an Inquisitor. Just plot-wise, fluff-wise, that wouldn't work. Inquisitor would be wanting to take up the Fallen just as much as anything else. The Inquisitor unit does not prevent other units in your army from benefiting from detachment abilities. Example, Chapter Tactics, which is great. And does not prevent abilities that require every model in your army to have the ability. Example, Combat Doctrines, Canticles of the Omnissiah. In a match play game, that Inquisitor unit is ignored for the purposes of Battle Brothers rules, although all the units in your army must still have the Imperium faction keyword. So what's really nice is that you can have an Inquisitor, but it will not affect how your army functions within its own rules, which is really nice. I know Assassins, really cool, but they do affect how the army works, which doesn't really make much sense to me. Assassins are usually sort of an unknown element. They're not supposed to be known. They're not supposed to be there. So I don't see, if the army doesn't know they're there, how it would affect them. I don't know. Maybe it is that uncertainty that throws the rules into disarray. Who knows? So that's it for pretty much the special rules. Not a lot there, other than the ability to, depending on what order you've taken, you have some bonuses against specific units if they have a keyword that you're, or like a unit name. Now we're going to dive into the stratagems. Now these are pretty cool. There's only 4 of them. Again, Inquisitors aren't going to get a ton because they are a smaller force. And from what I'm seeing here, it's a force that I think Games Workshop really wants you to have attached to your army and not really create an army itself. You can. It's a very small army. It's hard to do, and you won't have a lot of command points without building a lot of models or bringing a lot of detachments. We'll get to that later. So we'll start with Requisition. This is 1 command point. The remit of the Inquisition is such that all the Imperium's men and women must abide by its agent's demands. So use the stratagem in your shooting phase, the fight phase, your opponent's charge phase, when an Imperium infantry or Imperium biker unit from your army as within 6 inches of a friendly Inquisitor unit fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot or fight with. Until the end of that phase, the resolving attack made by a model in that unit against an enemy unit specified in that Inquisitor unit's core ability, re-roll a hit roll 1. So basically, Inquisitor goes, kill that thing. Just kill it dead. And a infantry or biker unit that, as it said, fires an Overwatch, is supposed to shoot or fight with, as long as it matches his core. So if there's an Ordo Malleus, there's a demon unit, and he tells that unit of Reavers get it, and the Reavers charge into combat, they get to reroll reroll hit roll of a 1 against that demon unit for that turn, which is pretty cool. It's 1 command point. We have Inquisitorial Mandate, another 1 command point. Use the stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Inquisitor model from your army is not your warlord and determine 1 warlord trait for it. It's regarded as your warlord for the purpose of that warlord trait. If that model is not a named character or vehicle, you can then give 1 relic of the Inquisition to that model. All the relics your army include must be different and be given different models. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. So that's pretty cool. So say you've got your Dark Angels and you've got Warlord there. You slap on Inquisitor, and now he can have a Warlord trait as well and a relic. It isn't so bad. It's 1 command point, and now you've got a more pumped up character. That's not bad. Seize for interrogation, sorry. Right? That's what the Inquisition likes to do, interrogate. Get you with the fluffy pillows or the comfy chair. And this one's cool. 9 stages of interrogation await those captured by the Inquisition, each more terrifying than the last. Even the field excruciators will pry secrets from the minds of those captured. It's 1 command point. Use the stratagem in any phase after an enemy character unit is destroyed within 3 inches of any Inquisitor unit from your army. Gain D3 command points and subtract 1 from leadership characteristics of enemy units until the end of the battle. You can only use the stratagem once per battle. That's actually pretty cool. A great way, obviously, to build up more command points and a permanent minus 1 to leadership for the rest of the battle. That can be devastating for some armies. All of a sudden, your leadership gets that much lower. It's not good. It's not good. I saved the best for last. This is one that really shows. We talked about in the last video their authority to just wipe out planets, do whatever damage they deem necessary. Cyclonic Torpedo. It's 4 command points. If you have the authority to condemn an entire world to the fires of Exterminatus, an Inquisitor has such power and this arsenal to deliver it. So use the stratagem in your shooting phase. If an Inquisitor model for your army is on the battlefield, select 1 point in the battlefield and roll 1d6 for each unit within 2d6 inches of that point. So that's really nasty because you get to pick the point. Then you roll 2d6, and whatever unit, you roll d6 for each one of that. So if they've grouped their army together in one area, you can just drop it on top. There's a good chance you're going to be getting a good chunk, unless you were really bad and you get like 2 inches. Which I've seen happen. It can happen. Roll 1d6 for each unit within 2d6 at that point, subtracting 1 from the result if the unit being rolled for is a character. On a 4+, the unit being rolled suffers d3 mortal wounds. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. So it's a nice way to put down a bunch of damage. If you want to math hammer it, it's a good chance you're going to be putting out quite a number of mortal wounds. And maybe it's not enough to make units run away, but all of a sudden it does limit them. It reduces their potency on a number of units all at once, which is really, really nice. So there you go, guys. That is the special rules and the stratagems for the Inquisition. In the next video, we're going to be looking at the named characters. There's quite a few of them. Some you may know: Eisenhorn, Greyfax, Karamazov. They're great characters. They've been around for a long time, or some of them have been around just in book form. Some have been recently introduced in the last couple of years. We're going to look at that. So until next time, guys, keep rolling dice. See you later.